Siesta Sand Live. Siesta Sand Live is broadcast from Captain Kurt's Village. It's Siesta Key's home to great food, great drinks, great music, and great times. Look for the giant American flag.
Welcome to Siesta Sand Live. I'm your host, Natalie Gutwein, and today I am so excited to have one of my very favorite Sarasota County residents on the program, Commissioner Joe Neunder. Not only is he chair of the Sarasota County Board of Commissioners, he also chairs the Sarasota County Tourist Development Council, and he represents the southern half of Siesta Key. He is a resident. He grew up in Sarasota County. He grew up lifeguarding on our very own Siesta Key Beach. So I can't wait to hear what he has to say. So stay tuned.
The next segment is brought to you by the Judy Berger team, part of Sotheby's International Realty. Whether a buyer or a seller, you'll be delighted with their service. And by Altez Vacations. It's the perfect place to go to find that perfect place to rent.
So welcome. I am here with Commissioner Joe Neunder with the Sarasota County Board of County Commissioners. We are so excited to have you on. It's been a busy year. When did you get voted in?
Well, good morning, Natalie, and first let me thank you for the invite. It is a pleasure to be here in downtown Siesta Key. What a beautiful morning. We're certainly enjoying it. I was elected in 22.
Okay.
I'm into my third year of my first term.
Oh,
so,
wow.
We have elections coming up next year, but we serve 4-year terms, and we're entitled to serve 2 terms.
So I was thinking of Commissioner Smith he's newer on the board, right?
We got elected at the same time.
Okay, well then I just don't know what I'm talking about.
Could be a little confusing sometimes.
Right, yeah. Well, we've been so busy this last year that obviously with the hurricanes and Debbie, and we're dealing with everything out here on the Key. You've had to deal with everything, the entire county wide with everything and stormwater, of course. I'm sure that beats that term just beats around in your head these days.
Yes.
What is going on with that? I know the county, you decided to make it a completely different department.
We did, yes, ma'am. So I guess about 2.5 months ago, we had the conversation about pulling it out from under Public Works and giving its own silo, if you will. And with that conversation, we wanted our own stormwater director, who we have now hired, still going through the onboarding process, in addition to an ancillary consultant with significant stormwater experience to kind of help us through maybe 3 to 6 months. Somewhat of a tag team effort to look at the inventory.
To catch up where we're at.
Exactly. And as we move forward from here on in, that stormwater department will report directly to our county administrator. And I'm hoping that through this process, of course, as we get back to our meetings at the end of this month from break, we get frequent updates as to what is going on, how is it going, any problems, anything that the board can do and make decisions to help the word I'm looking for is, what would be the word? It's synergy. We want some synergy there, right? So we want to be able to have the board make decisions to help the stormwater department, to help our community to prepare. As you are all well aware here.
Right. We've got some significant stormwater issues, and I have to give the board credit. You took it very, very seriously. You were very concerned as soon as I sent you pictures, and you started digging into it immediately. And what can I do? How can I help? And then that led to this, to completely separating the department. And there's a lot of work to be done out here. Of course, like I said, you've got the whole county. I've got this little island that we're so we're just going to talk mainly about Siesta Key. But yeah, we've after the storms, we noticed that it was just it rained and the water was still sitting here. But we have seen the county crews working. Actually, tomorrow, we're meeting with the Siesta Key Village Maintenance Corporation is meeting with the county tomorrow morning, and we're starting to work through that process with that maintenance and what we can do in the village. As you know, we've hired a the Siesta Key Beautification Alliance.
Yes,
Circle back
congratulations.
around to
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. We've hired an engineering firm. We're trying to see what we can do to help you out. So where do you, with the beautification, do you support the $30 million beautification? Where are you with that whole thing?
Yeah, so there's no question we need to address some of the beautification here on Siesta Key, right? First and foremost, and we've had our tour, right?
Right. Well, and tell your history. You were a lifeguard here, right?
Yes, long time ago.
You were a Venice boy.
Yeah, so that was my summer job. It was great, and I got to work when North Lido and South Lido when they used to have lifeguards out there. So that was a great time, great job, great experience, and certainly Siesta Key, which is a very hard beach to lifeguard. That white quartz sand provides some reflective properties from UV. It's I think I've heard like double that of a normal beach. So the lifeguards out there, you got to give a shout out to them, to the men and women, because it is very exhausting. It gets very hot out there. But certainly Siesta Key over the years is our jewel, right? When people talk about Sarasota County, we're in movies now. Dr. Beach has put Siesta Key Beach on the map.
Right.
And we often hear Siesta Key referred to as the jewel.
The jewel of Sarasota County,
yes,
that's
indeed.
right.
Yeah,
It most definitely is.
Yeah, and people do come here. They come for the experience. They come for the white quartz sand. They come to enjoy all the wonderful restaurants and to decompress and unplug from their day-to-day lives from wherever they may be. And so I'll circle back. $30 million is probably, you ask for the moon, right?
That's
what
right.
you do. And I think what the conversation needs to be, and I don't know if I've said it on record, but I'll tell you, we absolutely need some money back into this particular area of our community, right?
Right.
You and I know, we've had the conversations that, and I'm blessed to chair the Tourism Development Board.
Correct.
You guys are responsible for, the heads and beds tax of about a third of whatever our take is annually, right?
Right. Yeah, we are bringing. Yeah.
Yeah, in the city of Sarasota, you guys compete. You're very
We're neck
close.
and neck
Yes,
all the
that's smart.
time, but they get money back. We, different. Other places are getting money back.
Sure.
And yeah.
Well, we're going to do that this year. We're going to find out what we can do to help beautify this particular area. And, you want our businesses in this particular area, all businesses, to be successful.
Right.
You want a culture out here. You want an environment to invite people from all around the world to come to Siesta Key, decompress, relax, and enjoy the amenities.
Sand and
on the white quartz.
Get grounded in the sands.
Exactly, and enjoy all the fruits of the labor of the people that blood, sweat, and tears into their business here, right?
Right.
And we're very proud of our community here. We're proud of what we have to offer, and we want to share that. And that's an important message: is we want to share that.
Right.
And I know that we have Visit Sarasota County as another institution that the county pays for to do our marketing. They do a great job.
They
making
do,
sure
yeah.
that whether it's the internet or
They're
mailings.
a great partner with us.
Fantastic. I mean that's the message that we want to send. The branding of Sarasota County. Of course, I think as the evolution of our community continues,
Right.
we always want to make sure that we're never losing sight of Siesta Key, what Siesta Key has to offer. Among other things too. We're here talking about Siesta and Sarasota.
Right,
County's
but
Northport.
but for you again, yeah. Northport to the airport.
Northport
I'm
to the
quoting
airport,
you there. Northport to the airport.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was in a conversation last night with the Beautification Alliance, and we're talking about some of the places that like Moat Aquarium and the baseball, and I said, Siesta Key has funded all that. We have funded everything that has been able to bring Sarasota County, to make Sarasota County as a whole such an amazing place to be.
Sure.
We've just got to get it back here so we can keep the crowds coming, and for our residents, for Sarasota County residents, we need to make it safe. That's one of the big things we're working on, is making it safe, working on the sidewalks and roadways, and there's a lot that we're all working on with that.
Yeah, Natalie, you bring up something that for you and your listeners, I'd like to kind of give my opinion if I can.
Absolutely.
Part of my job is not only being a public servant, right, but it's also being a customer service representative, right? Meaning that, Natalie, you're out and you see a broken sidewalk, something that could, unfortunately affect a patron or a visitor here. Use the email system, at least for this commissioner, right? Send me an email directly with your concerns. That way we have a day, a time, and a metric on what the topics are
Right,
of concern.
a record of.
Exactly.
Yep.
And I have a wonderful assistant, and we take about 7 days to hopefully resolve the situation or get that ball rolling.
Right.
Right? After 7 days, if there isn't anything, I pick up a call, make some inquiries. Hey, what's going on? Do we need more time, etc. That open dialogue, communication, and transparency is very important, at least to me,
Right.
in government. Right?
Well, you can't fix what you don't know about.
Very
if
true.
you don't know that something is broken, then
Correct.
you can't fix it. And you are very responsive via email. The things that we've reached out to, and some of these things are long-term projects. Like stormwater that we've emailed about, talked about, but we're working on it.
And the other thing that's great is, I tend to think I'm a subject matter expert in what I went to school for, right? So I'm good in that area.
And
then,
you are a chiropractor by
yes,
trade.
Yes, ma'am, I am. I just moved my practice to Venice. So after 16 years, I'm
really?
now on the island of Venice, very close to kids' school and home.
That's
So
great.
Not too much driving anymore. Don't have to hit the interstate, but very blessed. Keeping that open transparency and dialogue in government is so important. And what you said is, I'm one guy, I cannot be everywhere, right?
Right.
It is Northport to the airport. But having that institutional buy-in from communities and from our citizens to help commissioners or help our staff do a better job,
Right.
we're always looking to improve. We're always looking to make sure that our citizens have their questions answered. Maybe they got some misinformation, right?
Right.
And we need to correct that record too. But in the meantime, having government work for our community is, I believe, one of the purposes of government, along
Right.
with the health, safety, and wellness of our community. And, I've been just very, very lucky so far. When I get my emails in, I'm able to kind of direct it to staff, and staff has done a great job getting to citizens' concerns. So I encourage all of your listeners or all of your friends, people in Sarasota County, there's 5 commissioners, right?
Right,
And you can email us
correct.
all, just commissioners@scgov.net. Or if you want to reach out to your district commissioner and build that relationship, you can look on our website and
see
they're
it.
listed.
And you're from the South Bridge down, and then Commissioner Mark Smith, North Bridge, north.
Correct.
Just as far as Siesta Key goes, but
Correct.
you do have things off the island.
Yeah.
But as far as your district goes here, I am correct about that, right?
You are correct.
Yep,
Yes, ma'am.
That's
But I am a Sarasota County commissioner, which in my mind tells me I work for Sarasota County.
right. You
Right.
do, yeah.
We get elected based on our districts because of single-member districting. However, the job says Sarasota County Commissioner. So,
Correct.
this is my home. I grew up here with a lot of friends and family, and if I can help, I'll help. And if I can't help, I have a Rolodex of people that I can refer out to help get some more information to resolve issues.
Good. Have you heard anything going on with the permits? I have heard some stories that they're taking a little longer,
Yes.
which
Yes.
obviously we knew that was going to happen with the storms that came through, and now a lot of people are trying to rebuild. What have you heard going on with that?
So I've heard all of that, but I've also heard, there's a new program called Acela that the county transferred over to. I think it was probably my first year, and
Oh.
it's implemented. Can be a little confusing for those of us that are not tech savvy, myself being one of them. However, we have a dedicated line to help individuals navigate the process through permitting. And then, of course, if you can't find that number, the 311 is the county call center that will route calls to the appropriate people. I'm not sure if you're aware of that.
Yes, and that's very useful. You can call 311 and report the sidewalk issue.
Sure.
If somebody didn't want to email you, if you see an issue,
Sure.
311, and they'll put it on the record. They'll see what they can do about it.
It's a wonderful, and all the individuals that work there are very well trained, right? They go across multiple areas of expertise, so they should know
That has surprised me, when I've called in, when you call the county and anybody that answers the phone seems to be able to know what's going on in
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
different things. I wondered how they manage that.
True story. I mean, I believe this is correct. The gentleman that's in charge of training the 311 operators comes from the hospitality industry, right? In the hotel industry. Very, very singularly focused on customer service.
Wow.
And when a citizen calls in, they may have a major issue and they're stressed out. They have the ability to answer questions with compassion and empathy, and then of course redirect them to the right department or individual to help them. And I think that's great, right? A little warm fuzzy is nice. Sometimes it's good to have that compassionate voice on the other end to help navigate
Right.
the waters to get you there.
Because I can imagine taking phone calls for the county can.
Quite a few. There's quite a few, actually.
There's got to be a lot, and I'm sure they can get heated, and people call in and they're upset, and it's been difficult, but we're actually we're coming up almost a year on the storms.
Yes. So I've been on break. Our board has been on break. And this year, I just want to be clear and transparent. I took 3.5 weeks off of everything. First time in my life.
Good for you.
Didn't see any patients. Didn't do really many government work. That was a wife directed. I needed to do that, so it was mandated. The kids are back in school, as you know, this week. So I'm getting back into the water.
Right, yep.
And I'm recharged, ready to go. Looking forward to getting updates from our staff. County administrator, how are we doing on stormwater? How are you guys doing out here? How do you feel the preparation is for the upcoming? Well, we're in the season currently.
We're in the season, yeah.
What's the sentiment? What is the public feeling on where we're at? Okay. Our new stormwater director, like I said, I believe he's still being onboarded, but my sources tell me that he is ready, willing, and able to get to work with a lot of expertise.
Was he a county employee that was?
Yes. His name is Ben Quartermain, and then he had transitioned into the private sector, and he's been brought back into our government sector to help us with stormwater issues, along with Steve Swaw, who is a stormwater engineer, incredibly smart man.
Right. Did he work for the county before as well? A long time ago?
Yes.
So, Mr. Quartermain, what made the county decide to hire him?
Well, I wasn't, how do I put this? I wasn't involved in the hiring process, right? And I think board direction was county administrator, you need to go out and look give us the best and brightest. Give us somebody that is ready and willing to work 50, 60 hours a week if possible, right? Pay them a great salary. Mm-hmm. This is really important. Our public needs this right now. And I believe that is exactly what happened. And Ben came in and he was gracious enough to leave the private sector to come back. He's going to have a lot on his plate, as I understand. But he'll have a confidant and a simpatico relationship with Mr. Swaw, who brings decades of stormwater experience. And right now, what we need to do is not only address the issues, but we have to be proactive in maybe anticipating some of the issues, right? Because, our Gulf is extremely hot. As we know, I don't think when I was lifeguarding, I don't know that I put these temperatures that we're putting on today.
Right.
So as these events come through, the energy that they feed on is warmer water. Yeah. That warmer water kind of collects in the atmosphere too. So it's feeding top and bottom, and that's again beyond my pay grade. That's just what I've read.
But you've lived here long enough.
I have.
Yep.
Yes, I have. So we want to be ready to rock and roll, right? And we want to make sure that our community has the resources, the outlets.
Right.
To also, even after a little rain event here in the village, and I have received some videos and pictures of just, a 30 or 45-minute rain where streets have flooded.
Right, yeah.
Now.
It's easy for me to remember. It was my birthday,
okay.
May 12th.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you,
Okay.
yeah.
Happy 30th birthday.
That's exactly right. The 20th anniversary of it, but but yeah, it rained, and I'm driving through the village, and it's bad. It's worse than before the storms. So we were very happy to see that things were changing with that, and we've got to work on the infrastructure out here, and we all know this. That's and that's a big part of it. We've got to get that put back together. Infrastructure and beautification, they're two different things, but they're part of the same deal going on.
It's a holistic view, though, right?
It's a holistic view. That's correct.
Yes.
It's not only, some people think it's just the village. It's not. We're talking about the village, the South Village, Siesta Key as a whole.
So it's interesting you mentioned that after Milton came through, day of, I snuck out onto the Key, right? So I was able to get out here, and I was able to help a few people get to their houses and put some bikes in the back and navigate through some of the residential areas. Once I got to Siesta Key Beach, of course, not having a truck or anything elevated, I couldn't go any further. But those type of things, in my mind, prove very, very integral in understanding what is going on with the water conveyance and where we need attention. In addition to that, when we have the residents throughout Siesta Key, or really throughout the county, after rain events, they have some spot areas that tend to be backed up for whatever reason. we can accept pictures on our server. Having a couple pictures with an address and just an email, right, commissioners or district, and then we can take that and say thank you. Could be Mr. and Mrs. Jones, whomever. We just send that to
That's
the
how you're going to
people.
figure out where the trouble spots are.
Indeed. And the other thing that the public should also be aware of is that we will have a GIS mapping type system here shortly on our homepage, which will show the stormwater conveyance system, where stormwater swales and ditches are located, and if there has been any recent activity in maintenance. Right?
Oh, that's great.
So you can just kind of click on it with your mouse, is what I understand. Again, I'm not the technophile, but you can go there, hit it, and kind of see what has been done. Now, that being said, if you see an area that has been done recently but it's still flooding, you may want to say something, right? You might want to shoot an email. I see this was done though, but here I'm telling you guys, it's flooding out still. We're having a problem. Maybe somebody can come out.
Well, when we initially asked for the stormwater out here on Siesta and a report, and I got 904 pages from the county, it just seemed like it would be one address here and one address there. Okay. I'm hoping with the new stormwater czar, which is a
well, that was my term. Yeah.
Are you where I got that?
Yeah,
okay,
I
will totally give you credit for that. But we're hoping that it's a much more comprehensive approach, that they come in and do entire sections and, get the sand out because, I think they're full of sand here on this island.
So I have a question for you, if I may.
Absolutely.
What would work well in your world? Sorry about that. What would I think collaboration and communication are key in life in so many ways. But in your world, given that you're now heading up this new organization, which is wonderful, in your mind, what are you hearing that would make the efforts here for this community better with its relationship with Sarasota County government?
Siesta Key has long felt like we were the stepchild. Like we bring in all the money and we get nothing back. A significant investment is what we want to see out here. We want to be appreciated for what we are to the county.
Absolutely.
We want to find a way, bring the money back, and we want to reinvest it. We want to make it beautiful for everybody. We want it safe. We want it, I tell the story about nearly impaling myself going down the road with because some of the cracks of the sidewalk and all that kind of stuff, and just going on my bike. We want the county to work with us better, county staff especially. We want to feel like we are appreciated for what we bring to the table. Okay. And we want some of it back to us. What I hear all the time is, what is going on? Why does Siesta Key, we bring in a third of the tax, but we're building rowing stuff?
Sure.
That's, and I know that that new building that came out, that happened before you were on the Board of County Commissioners. So the allocation that recently went out to Benderson Park. So that's what we hear. We want to see a significant investment back in just what we produce.
Well, I couldn't agree more, right? And the term that I've heard with a lot of the residents around here is resort quality.
That's
right?
correct.
Siesta Key resort quality. And that pays monumental dividends because, again, when people come here from whatever walk of life or from whatever part of the world, presumably with high stress, they want to be able to come here and just completely relax and check out. And that should be successful restaurants, right?
Correct.
It should be hotels that are well-staffed, clean, road infrastructure and or bike infrastructure, right? That's easy to navigate and sidewalks to walk. All of those things make Siesta Key not only more attractable to people coming here, but while they're here, they get a much better experience.
Oh, absolutely. We think it should be, when you come over these bridges, you should feel like you have arrived, and it's really not that difficult.
Yeah, we had talked about that sometime. In fact, I think I brought that up too, about having a placard on at least my district, the South Bridge, right? The North Bridge also having something similar. However, that needs to be a conversation with the city of Sarasota.
With the city, right?
But, all those things we'll tackle. And I think, you're very organized, Natalie. One of the things I've known about you is you're very organized and detail-orientated. Having something from your group that brings out more TDT investment dollars back into Sarasota, more attention to infrastructure, whether that be the roads, the sidewalk, trimming palm trees out here,
Right.
some of the what do they call it, the wood chips, that type of
Oh, the
stuff.
mulch. Yeah,
The
that did not
mulching.
work out so well.
Yeah, right. So, having that laundry list of things that are important, because of course I'm not here every day, you are, that institutional knowledge can pay huge dividends, especially for our board when we make decisions.
Right.
And then also that conversation at the TDT level, right? We have, I think there's 9 members maybe on there. We have a large board. We have
Right.
some hoteliers and everything. Did I say that right? I hope I said that right. Hotelier.
He'll tell you. I'm not sure how you say it.
Yeah, that's a good. I'll
Hotelier.
have to
Yeah.
look up that.
Yeah.
But having and that's a very diverse board too throughout
It
the
is,
county,
right.
But I think you have some Siesta Key representation.
We
on there,
do. Mike
right?
Holderness
Right.
is on that board.
Perfect time to coalesce with him and make sure that we bring that up. And of course, you can email me on issues that you want me to bring up to that board. We want to have that open dialogue and conversation, and we want to make sure that we get all of that information digested so that when we make decisions, hopefully, presumably to the benefit of Siesta Key,
Right.
and its beautification or its infrastructure, that we have all of the background history and the story, so that when we get there to make a decision, we typically have 2 meetings a month, sometimes more. But when we're there for business for 8 hours or longer, we can do the business of the citizens of Sarasota County.
And that's what we're putting together for you. That's, and that, I think in the past, it seemed like Siesta Key wasn't as well organized as we are now. It would have been one person griping about this and another person griping about that. Well, now we are all come together. And, my board represents the chamber. It represents the Siesta Key Association. We are all sitting at that board table together talking about what we can do to make this place better. And I think that's what's changed. Commissioner Mark Smith has been, he's been working with us and talking to us as well because he lives out here.
Of course. Sure. Well, that's a good, he lives here, right? Yeah, so he
Right.
lives and breathes it. I've heard that, Natalie, and I do ask my questions, right? I grew up here, and I get
Right.
those things. I don't know that Siesta Key has ever been more organized than it currently is as we sit here this morning, and that's
I
a wonderful
agree with
thing.
that, yeah.
It would also pay dividends for myself too. So as you interact with all these organizations, if I can give you, so for example, I might work with one individual in a homeowners association, group,
right.
I can get that information to their president, and then they can just forward that to their entire email list, right?
Right.
So I've heard, and again, going back to your attention to detail, right, and your ability to do those things, I've heard that Siesta Key has never been more organized than it is right now.
Well, I'm glad to hear
That's
that.
a great thing.
I agree with that, and that's what I have told. Even when I'm talking to the county or the people that work for the county, I said, "Come to me.
Sure.
I'm the voice of this, and I will get it out to everybody that needs to know because that is what we are organized now, and we're trying to make your job easier. With the engineering study, we're going to bring it to you and say, okay, this is we've done all the homework. Here it is.
Thank you in advance. I mean,
You
that makes
are
the job
welcome.
easy. And then I guess it just goes back to getting all the information beforehand, digesting it, so that when we make decisions, we're making the right decisions.
Right.
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 And that comes with having the trust and the relationships with the individuals. For example, your organization out here that speaks for a multitude of individuals and businesses. Right. So I know that when I talk to Natalie's been out there talking to,
Right.
to the people on the streets and the
Yep.
businesses. So yes, it does expedite the process. And that's
Right.
what we're looking for. Sometimes in government, it takes a little bit of time, right? I'm not used to that. It's, I'm a private sector guy, but the point is the more organized we can be. Measuring twice, cutting once.
Mm-hmm.
When we go ahead and pull the trigger, we make decisions on that board level. We've got everything done. The research has been done, and of course,
Yes.
we want to affect positive change for our community. That's the goal.
Right.
So,
And that's what we're going to bring to you. We're going to bring it to you on a silver platter and say, okay. And we're working on that. One of the other board members and I met with the engineering firm last week. And I have been so impressed with all the outreach that I've received. Just the different people that have reached out to me, people that the architects that work around here, and just they've reached out and said, "Hey, Natalie, I see what's going on out there. If there's anything I can do to help you out," and then that synergy has just spread, and that's where I think that we are. That's the biggest impact we're having. We are organized. We are one
Sure.
solid unit.
Yeah.
Coming to the county now and saying, "Okay, we're going to give this to you. Here it is." But
You guys
well,
are rowing in all the same direction now, right?
we are,
And
right?
that's a positive thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
we are. Then I think that's a big, big change.
Great.
Why don't we take a short break,
Very good.
and we'll be right back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The following segment is brought to you by Beach Bazaar, located in the heart of Siesta Village. Everything for the beach, and we do mean everything. And by FAM Development, the area's best in custom-built homes. Start living your dream on and around Siesta Key.
I'm back with Commissioner Neunder, and why don't we start talking about Midnight Pass? I know that
Ooh.
was one of the things that you talked about when you were running for office, and then Mother Nature did you a favor.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, indeed. Indeed, she did.
So what's going on with the plans to keep it open?
Yeah, so I'll rewind just a little bit because the idea of Midnight Pass in this community has been around, well, quite frankly, since I was a kid.
Yeah.
Right? There's been a couple iterations through the county that were unsuccessful, and the history of how that pass was closed. It was open, always open, and then it closed, I think, in '82 or the early '80s, and then subsequently was closed ever since.
Right.
When I was campaigning for my first term, I was very lucky to come up with an invitation to a select group of individuals that were the Midnight Pass Society.
Right.
And of course, knew several of them and learned a wonderful history about the topography, even old pictures and publications dating back to the 80s and 70s about Midnight Pass. And that's really where I got the, inclination to make that. At that time, it was my top priority to try to do once I got elected, to really understand what was going on there, to ask the hydrologists, the environmentalists, what is the history, what are the benefits, what could be the drawbacks, etc. And so I was working on that for about a year and a half. Up until Mother Nature
Right.
was gracious.
We liked out here. We say it is the one good thing that came out of Helene.
100%. The only lemonade I could make out of that.
Out of
that
those lemons,
trifecta
right? Yeah.
was that. And as I understand today, it's healthy, still flowing. It rips
Right.
really good. You got to be very careful out there.
Right.
People seem to enjoy it. I have a few neighbors that are out there with frequency, and they enjoy it. But the current does really rip.
Right, it does. But so if it starts to close, or what can the county do to keep that open?
Okay. Segueing into what we have done since the opening, our county administrator did write a letter to DEP, letting them know that the intention of Sarasota County was to always have this particular, let's call it an inlet, open. Okay.
It was designated as an inlet?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And so, since it's been open, the public has used it. Law enforcement has used it. I think Sea Tow for rescues on boats, they've all
Right.
used it. So it's a wonderful middle point in between the jetty and Big Pass, New Pass area at North Sarasota. And what we'll have to do is let my suggestion was, based on conversations, let Mother Nature kind of do its course for a year and a half, couple seasons.
Yeah.
See where that sand accretion ends up, where it ebbs and flows. At that point, what we'll do is take a hard look with the experts, the subject matter experts, and see what needs to be done to ensure that is always an open waterway in perpetuity, which is something that I would always advocate for.
Right.
I think I still have a Let It Flow bumper sticker, which is from my youth, which is at my parents' house in my room.
Oh, it's still
right,
there.
but
Your room probably still looks the same.
That's my room. It is. It is my room. Yes. Yeah. But that's the history of it here in Sarasota County. And like you said, out of tragedy, we did have that opened. It is cleaning out the bay.
Oh my gosh,
significantly, is what
it
I hear.
looks so different now.
Yeah, and I'm not a boater, but I do hear from the boaters, and that's what they're all saying. And the
Oh yeah,
homeowners
I've
too.
been down there, and it's I cannot believe how it does. Right, it flows pretty hard through
Well,
there.
It does. I think on an ingoing and outgoing tide is when it's not safe. Like, there are people that beach there, right? They picnic. You want to be very careful with your children. And for those individuals that are not strong swimmers or without,
Right.
you
Oh
want to be
yeah, you
careful.
do not want to get in that.
Yeah.
Well, I can hear your history of lifeguarding.
Oh yeah, the rips.
Which we share.
Yeah.
I was a lifeguard on Lieber in Greencastle, Indiana.
Okay. Okay.
Not quite the same
Okay.
at all. We had no rip currents
Yeah.
on Cataract Lake, but yeah, I can hear that. But yeah, there are definitely rip tides and stuff through there that people need to be aware of.
Indeed. I think I did I do believe I had asked for some signage just to make sure that the public is aware. I don't know if it's there, if it's not there, but
There is signage. I rode my bike out there not too long ago and then walked down to check everything out, and they do have some signs.
great, great. Because at the end of the day, it's public safety, and I've also heard that the manatees during certain parts of our season and throughout the year tend to gravitate and have used it with some baby calves. So the boaters want to be careful, right? So we do have some natural wildlife that is now using it, and just be respectful.
Right.
Idle through, and again, I'm not a boater, but the terminology, I think idle.
Right,
Idle
that
through,
is correct.
Okay. Idle through, make sure you have eyes on the water as best you can. You don't want any unfortunate accidents.
Right.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. So I think it's good. I think we're moving in the right direction, and I think public sentiment is that now that it is open, we want to keep it open. And
Right.
It's important for the health, the water quality of the bay.
Very much so. Right.
Yeah.
So give it a couple of years and then come up with a plan.
Well,
Or a year, year and a half.
I think so. We're in August, right?
Mm-hmm.
So October 9th was when Milton came, right? That was the significant event that opened it up, right?
No, Helene did.
Pauline opened it up,
Mm-hmm.
but Milton, well, so Milton was my wife's birthday, so that's October 9th. So we're coming up again, right, at a year.
Right.
We probably want to have subject matter experts go out there and take a look. The University of Florida was doing some topography data collection shortly after the storms, and I believe we have that, which is great. But again, preparing and planning for the future. Let's see what Mother Nature is doing here now. Maybe they want to wait another 6 months, see the tidal flow and how that affects the bottom.
Record it a little bit more.
Yeah, but you're absolutely right. At some point, we need to kind of put our stake in the ground and say, okay, this is what we know, and how do we
Right.
protect it? Which, of course, will be a funding issue. We have to find money, right, to do that. But
All comes back around to
yeah,
money.
I really haven't talked to anybody in Sarasota County that was adamantly opposed or against having Midnight Pass open, even before it was
Right.
open. I really didn't find anybody to be truthful and honest that was opposed. We did have a couple emails, but in conversations with the people, I don't think I had one.
Well, that's
So,
great.
yeah.
I mean, I think what it's done for the environment is obvious, and that's what everybody said all along, was it was going to open up that stagnant water back there, get the flow going back through, and it's made such a big difference. So I think it is very important that we find a way to keep it open.
I think too, and we have a lot of ecotourism here.
We do.
Especially here on Siesta Key, right?
That's correct.
We've got a couple local establishments that do the wave runners and the kayaks.
Mm-hmm.
Having that flush, if you will, of the bay, and people having access to cleaner water. I think we're a coastal community, right? I think
Oh, yeah.
we feel comfortable saying that. We want to have, again, coming back to when people visit us here from all over the world, we want amenities and attractions that look
That's
pristine, and I think this is going to help us out tremendously in that space.
I agree.
Yeah.
So what else are you working on? What else? When you think about what you want to do with the rest of your term, what are you thinking about?
Well, obviously, Siesta Key issues, high on my priority board. I have, you guys are number 2. Number 1 is the Gulf Gate course, which if you take the South Bridge here, you go over.
Gulf Gate Golf Course.
Correct, the golf course. It's about 50 acres, currently owned by a developer on the East Coast. Would love to be able to purchase that, turn that into some stormwater retrofits for that particular area, in addition to, hey, I'm open to the pickleball conversations, or a walkable park or a pet park. Siesta Key residents, you all have the beach, which is
We do, yeah.
unbelievable. However, maybe you want to mix it up from time to time and you want to go into a little green space or play some pickleball or do some other things. That would be an unbelievable purchase if we can agree to a price with the owner if they don't still want to develop it, right? They're entitled to do, I forget, maybe 100 and some homes there by right already. But I think as a community, the stormwater retrofits for the Gulf Gate area would be fantastic. For you guys here on the Key, not that the beach isn't beautiful and appropriate
No,
every day.
We want Sarasota County as a whole to be a beautiful place to live. I mean, I think that's why a lot of us moved down here. Was the entire county is a great place to be. And, like we talked about, a lot of that money comes from here, but we do want to have nice amenities throughout the county. Nice schools, nice all of it. And it's part and parcel to what makes us completely what we are.
So I have a question for you.
Oh, sure.
Knowing that you're a very successful realtor in
Yes,
our
sir.
area, when you have customers that come to relocate here, what are you finding? What queries do they have? What do they want to know about Sarasota County before they uproot and make a purchase?
Oh, great question.
Yeah.
Great question. They want to know if they have kids or not. They want to know how good the schools are.
Okay.
That is a big, big deal. A lot of, especially, it's not cheap to buy in Sarasota County. So anybody coming down, they're usually at a higher income level. Schools are very, very important to them. They want to know infrastructure. They want to know, if I buy this house, is it going to flood? They want to know that they've got great police and fire departments. Is it safe? That is a big, big question I get a lot. When they're thinking, and they want other amenities. When I've said all along, what brought me here was I wanted a mid-sized market. I wanted something. I didn't even want as big as Tampa. It had to be smaller than Tampa for where I was going to land. And I wanted the schools. I wanted the infrastructure. I wanted to be able to be part of my local government, actually. I wanted to be able to, my voice to be heard. And they want a place that's clean. That's, being a realtor out here on Siesta Key, that's a little bit of the pushback that I'm getting right now. But, and I can tell them, you're talking to the right person. I'm your girl. We're putting this place back together, and we're going to be better than we ever were to begin with. But that's a great question. That is, overall, they want to know. They want to know that things are well funded. That they're not moving into a place that is that's overextended. As far as the county goes.
Yeah, in those conversations, of course, this upcoming week we're going to be having a final budget meeting for the budgetary fiscal year 25-26, and we have some topics that we really need to drill down on, right?
Right.
And we're very blessed in Sarasota County, as we have. Last year's budget was about a $2 billion budget with a B. This year it's proposed to be a $2.5 billion budget.
Wow, that's quite
right?
the increase.
It is quite an increase, right? And as fiscal stewards to our taxpayers and residents in Sarasota County, we want to make sure we're doing the right things, okay? In a time where we see things like, I think egg prices have come down, though.
They have.
Right?
They're getting there,
but,
right?
As a man with 3 boys, growing boys, grocery bills are more expensive.
Very much so.
I think I've read that FPL might be increasing their rates here in the very near future.
Yeah, I was reading about that as well.
So, we have to be very cognizant of, the individuals on a fixed income.
Right.
Right. We want to make sure that we're protecting our population there, too. And making sure that the mindset in government is very, I call it private sector orientated, meaning we are fiscally responsible, we are lean, we are mean, and we're always trying to have efficiencies.
Right.
No duplication of services or duplicative natures of things. We want to make sure that we're doing the right things with our taxpayers' money. I have some ideas coming up for this upcoming week.
Great.
Our board will meet. We'll try to see what we can do, but I think, in the long term, we always need to be private sector minded,
right,
with our tax dollars, because things are more expensive today.
And they are.
And affordable housing is something also you had mentioned. What might be for the remainder of my term? It's having those conversations with individuals about affordable housing, workforce housing.
Right. That's a big deal around here. As I said, it's not cheap to move to Sarasota County.
I'm well aware of that one for sure, and I'm a city resident of Venice, so I get 2 taxations.
Oh,
so, right?
wow.
But I do get my trash twice a week, which in a family of 5 with boys helps immensely.
Right, that's a big deal.
It is, and but yeah, we should always be respectful of our taxpayer money and listen to people. Obviously, we want to know what's going on in our community. Where do you think we're perhaps wasting some money or not efficiently using it? Make sure that your voices are coming to us or coming to staff
right.
to make sure that we can pivot, reallocate, or reassign, to a better use of money.
There's got to be a lot of that going on with adding that much more to the budget.
You would think so, right? I mean, if you just do the numbers, I think I saw it was over a 20% increase over last year's budget. And we have some pretty significant asks this year.
What's that from? Is there any one place or?
Well, we have our constitutionals, right? They came in. I don't think it's a secret. There's been articles in the paper about our sheriffs having double-digit increases, right? And we have some capital projects like our new administration building, computer, permitting department, historical resources, mosquito management. And the way I've looked at it, and I did take a dive, it's the useful life of some of these buildings really have come to its terminus.
Right.
Meaning it's going to cost a heck of a lot more money to fix and put Band-Aids on than just kind of bite the bullet. And with construction prices also, seem to be skyrocketing.
Right.
If we were to do it in a couple more years, it could even be more expensive. People want a safe community, right? Law enforcement, public safety, in my opinion, is fire.
The jail.
Right, the jail is a big conversation that will come up in 26. It likely will be on a referendum vote, along with our environmentally sensitive land, which is like a tax, basically, that the citizens of Sarasota County get to vote on. But it allows the board an opportunity to buy green space.
Oh.
Right?
Nice.
So we're looking for green space, always looking for more public green space to the water, more public access to the water. That in Sarasota County, we might be around, say, 34% open space, right? But imagine if, I would love to see it higher than that.
Right.
Right? I'm not interested in having my home look like Fort Lauderdale or...
That's what
right?
I've said all along. We do not want Siesta Key to look like Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, which are great places, by the way. I'm not saying that.
I love to visit
right?
Fort Lauderdale. I just don't want Siesta Key to look like
Understood.
Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, and we have the ability to control our own destiny in that space, right? So if we can buy more environmentally sensitive land, keep it green space in perpetuity,
right?
It's a positive thing in my world. What I really like in my area, the city of Venice, where I live, and this was done after I was on that board, but they really protected their downtown area. So for about 2 blocks or like 3 streets, the downtown will always be like a slice of Americana history. You're not going up over 35 feet, 40 feet. I mean,
Right.
it's always going to be the walkable little downtown that you might see like on a show like Gilmore Girls. I might be dating myself here, but if you know that show, or you have this walkable downtown with your ice cream shop and your pharmacy. In my town, that's a beautiful thing. It's never going to
Right.
change. And I think that, you kind of gravitate and you move to the type of things if you want. If you want a walkable downtown with high rises and apartments, you go to downtown Sarasota.
Right.
Right?
And it's beautiful.
It is.
Downtown Sarasota is
Yeah.
great for what it is, but we don't want it on Siesta Key, and we
Agreed.
don't want it in Venice.
Agreed.
My board went down to Venice, actually, and we
Great.
spent some time talking with the people in Venice because they have done a great job. It's a little different structure because they do have the city of Venice, where we don't. We are just the county to do things with. But they have flowers everywhere, and they have lots of volunteers.
Yes.
So we are going to be stealing several of those ideas.
Great. That's a great thing.
And the people down in Venice were so wonderful. They were just an open book. They met with us. They walked us around.
Yeah.
They're more than happy to help us make Siesta Key look a little bit more like that. But it is the protections. It is.
Yes.
You
Yes.
can't, and not letting those get by,
Well, I think I grew up in Sarasota, but I chose to raise my family in Venice, right? And
You went to Pineview, right?
I did, yes, ma'am. Yes. Almost Venice. It's close enough. Had a lot of friends growing up from the Venice area, and their high school sports athletic programs are off the charts, right? They do a great job.
Yeah.
But there's a reason why that my wife and I decided to relocate to that particular area, because we like walking the downtown. We like how things are very quaint, and we have a group called VABI, which is the Venice
That's
area.
who we met with.
Wonderful people.
They are great, yeah.
Right? And if you look at all the flowers that are hung in the nice pots, they get out there in the mornings very early, and they water and they take care of it. So there's a lot of institutional pride that comes in the Venice area.
Yes.
And very protective of that.
And they
also.
said they have a lot of volunteers, an
Huge.
overwhelming amount of volunteers.
Yes, huge. And the history really goes back to the developer that kind of laid it out. His name was John Nolan, I believe, way, way back in the day. But people have always bought into that small town kind of feel, which is great.
But that is the entire county. That is what makes Sarasota County what people love, is that small town feel. You get a little bit, you've got downtown Sarasota. People think I'm crazy when I say I have staycationed in downtown Sarasota. It took me 12 minutes to get to my staycation. But that's like a different world.
Yeah.
And
it
then
is.
you come out here and you go in Venice and you do have that. And that's what we're really, really trying to protect.
Yeah, and rightly so. I mean, the charm, obviously, we could use some infrastructure and influx of money here to do some
Right.
much needed improvements, on the foliage and maybe the trees and stuff. But Siesta Key is singularly unique.
Oh, very much
It's
so.
the
yeah.
way that it exists today is what makes it so singularly unique to any other place in the country, with the number one beach in the
Right.
nation. Where is it? Hold on a second. Where am I pointing? Right
That way.
that way, right there.
Yeah.
I mean,
We're here at Captain Kurt's. It's literally across the street.
right. So where else in the country can you have the number one beach in the world, fantastic food, restaurants,
Walkable. We have the trolley.
Right.
We have a lot of great things. We're just going to be spectacular by the time we're done with all this.
resort quality?
Resort
That's the term.
quality.
That's the term I've heard.
Do
yes.
you know where that came from?
Apparently, it's in a document somewhere.
That Commissioner Mark Smith is.
Really?
Yes, because
Okay.
he was the one that did the original beautification on Siesta Key 17, 18 years ago.
Okay.
And it took him a very long time to put that together.
Okay.
Like 10 years. And in the course of all of that, he coined the term resort quality.
Okay.
Now, I don't want people to get confused. We are not talking about making Siesta Key different. We're talking about taking what you just talked about perfectly, that small town feel, and just making it pristine
Yeah.
and clean and neat.
There's another caveat to the way that I think about the area down here, and that is, all of the, let's say, just mom and pops that own the restaurants and the little
We're sitting at
boutiques,
one.
right? And being a small business owner, I feel very adamant about protecting the mom and pops in our community.
That's great.
I don't know, years ago, I think I read in this country, was it at that point before Amazon, and it was like 90% of the country, the backbone of our country, were mom and pops or something. It was a very large number. And I feel very adamant about protecting our business owners here because I know that they have kids.
Right?
And I know that their children may want to take over the family business. And there's nothing more Americana or American dream in my mind where the parents get to build, sweat, tears business.
Right.
They have a wonderful family and they get to hand that down to the children with the caveat that the kids, of course, are going to take care of mom and dad forever, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the deal. But, you have this kind of generational transition of business where the kids and the parents and the grandparents of, say, perhaps this restaurant.
Right.
Or any-
this is right.
right?
This restaurant, family owned for years and years
Yeah.
and years. Most of our, I think, almost all of our, I would say at least 95% of our restaurants here are privately owned.
That's what you want to protect, right? That is the type of business that we want, where you have the genuine contact with the owners who
Right.
come in and take pride every day, taking care of their customers, building family wealth, maybe generational wealth, providing jobs for our community, right?
Yes.
Those are the things that I would feel very adamant about. I mean, I do feel very adamant about protecting.
That's
And
great.
that is the culture here in the village, and we do need to always protect that. And I would just say, it's really not. We're talking about Siesta Key today,
Right.
But you have other areas and pockets, whether it's Sarasota County or this country. You do have the struggle in the private sector that small business owners have. They have
Right.
every day. Overhead, power, inventory, insurance. So all of these things are going up incrementally. Stress is real.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Stress is real. But here in our community, where we can have a conversation about protecting that and making sure that we do, I'm always happy to have that dialogue. Always.
That's great.
Yeah.
So is there anything else you wanted to talk about before we close up here?
Let's see. No, I don't really have much to talk about, but I always kind of end with, do you have any additional questions, comments, concerns?
Right.
I always want to give the last word, especially thank you kindly for hosting me here this morning.
Oh, my
This
pleasure.
has been
Thank you
fun.
for coming on.
Yes.
That's like I said, one of the things that brought me here was I wanted to be involved in I actually wanted a local newspaper. It's kind of the funny little things that I was looking for when I looked around. A local newspaper and local representation. I wanted to be, because I lived in Atlanta before I came down here.
Okay.
I had no idea who represented me on anything except maybe a senator. I wasn't going to run into those people at the grocery store. And that's one of the things I love here. I will see you around. I will see I see Commissioner Smith all the time. I mean,
Yeah,
it's a great little area.
I love public service because that is the job that it is, right, Natalie? It is trying to be a man of the people, being accessible, and having grown up here for most of my life. To your point, you can't go to Publix without running into somebody,
Oh,
or
right.
I can't go to the soccer field or to the Y, right? There's always somebody, but I do like that part of the job,
Right.
if I'm being honest.
That's what makes it great.
I do, and I like being a conduit for help. And if I can't help, then I can put people in a position where they can help each other, or somebody can get help from somebody else. That's
Right.
part of the job as well.
Right.
And there's tremendous satisfaction in that. It's really nice to have a thank you, and I didn't know this, and you're teaching people about the way things work, because we all live here.
Right.
This is our home, and
Yep.
I've always said that it is one of the best places, if not the best place. I'm not going anywhere. Like, I'll be married here.
Somebody asked me that
Yeah.
the other day. Are you ever moving? I said,
No.
where would I go? How do you go up from
Yeah.
here?
No, I really believe that we are at the pinnacle, and it doesn't mean that we rest. We always try to improve and address
That's right.
insufficiencies throughout our community. That's part of my job, right?
Right.
Part of my job is listening, using my ears and mouth in proportion, meaning that I'm listening twice as much as I'm talking, right?
Right.
And that type of, I believe, mindset in public service, all public service, provides tremendous dividends when it comes to creating a community and a culture of health, safety, and wellness. So that's kind of my story. I'm always, available for questions, comments, concerns.
You
of course.
are great.
my
You mean
email.
what you say about email. You are very responsive via email. I just wanted to thank you for all the support you're giving us out
Oh,
here
my
on the
pleasure.
Key.
Yeah, my
We
pleasure.
are very, very excited. My board we're busy. We're busy beavers. It's a little, we haven't been as vocal about some things just because we're working. We're putting everything together, and you have been on board. You have talked to us about it. You're working with us, and we are going to do your homework for you.
Well, I appreciate that. I was going to close with that, saying, again, thank you for having me here this morning. Lost about 5 pounds of water weight, so that's good.
Right?
It's been great.
On me, right? Yeah, there's no breeze back here.
I love it, though. I
Yeah.
love the heat. I really do. But thank you for the work that you're doing.
Thank you.
I don't think we've seen the coalition and the synergy in Siesta Key, is what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing, than what you all have here right now. And as you know, we have, as commissioners, a lot on our plate, a lot of
Right.
different departments throughout the community. So having an organized group that you lead is a true service to us as commissioners, as our board, and also to your community. And I don't know, maybe one day you'll be running for public office. And
I
who
like
knows?
my
Who
public.
knows?
I like my service is what I'm doing
Indeed.
right now. But no, thank you. I
Yes,
really
ma'am.
appreciate that.
Appreciate that very much.
Just like you said, it's absolutely a pleasure. I love what I'm doing. I know what it's. My kids, my grandkids, and we want to preserve that. The people on my board, we are trying to preserve, protect, but then go forward and make it beautiful
Indeed.
as well.
Yeah.
And that is, just like we talked about with Venice, it's very similar here. And
Yeah, you guys, this is a wonderful, wonderful area, truly a gem in our community, and you guys get to eat, live, and breathe this every day. So,
well, you're always welcome.
well, indeed.
Always welcome
Indeed.
out here.
Thank you very much.
Well,
very
thank
much.
you. Thanks
Okay.
for coming on.
Appreciate you. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye now.
The final segment is brought to you by the law offices of Eric Fleming, specializing in real estate closings. Mr. Fleming is also the current president of the Siesta Key Chamber of Commerce. And by Gilligan's Island Bar and Grill. Experience the heartbeat of the Siesta Village's dining and social scene.
So what do you think? I really want to say thank you to Commissioner Neunder. They've got a lot going on, and I greatly appreciate him taking the time to come out here on Siesta Key. He's met with us before, as you know. We walked the village, and now coming out here to talk to us and talk about his support for the Key, I really, really appreciate it. So stay tuned. Who knows what's going to come up in the Sarasota Board of County Commissioner meetings? You can watch those online. Keep an eye on us, the Siesta Key Beautification Alliance. We are working very diligently. So much going on with that. A lot of it's behind the scenes right now, so just keep watching. We'll keep you updated. Don't forget, you can reach me at natalie.gutwine@gmail.com. Always happy to take your concerns, your questions. If you've got people for the podcast, reach out. I'm happy to hear from you. So stay sunny, Siesta, and thanks for tuning in.
Siesta Sand Live is broadcast from Captain Kurt's Village. It's Siesta Key's home to great food, great drinks, great music, and great times. Look for the giant American flag.